Welcome to Ion Hermosa Beach. It's election season here in Hermosa, and because of that, we invited in some local residents to talk about what they see as the main issues. We also then invited in all 5 city council candidates to respond to those concerns and also provide them with a platform to speak directly to the voters. We hope that you learn a lot through this process.
I'm Pena. I have been in the South Bay for 24 years. I opened my business in Hermosa, I'd say around 10 years ago, so I've been here for quite some time. Well, for me, I started getting involved providing feedback to the city about 4 years ago when the pandemic hit, and they closed down all the businesses, as it did nationwide. And I worked with the Downtown Business Association, and they were literally a lifeline to us to keep us afloat, keep us connected. And I have to attribute Mary Campbell, who was the mayor at the time. She formed the Economic Development Committee, and I volunteered with about 19 of my fellow business owners. And we worked with the city for 2 years. We did about 70 meetings, and it was under the understanding that we were going to work together, which I thought was fantastic, to develop ways that we could help our community thrive. And from that, we developed 30 economic development strategies that have been adopted, and we have 2 CIP projects from that, the Downtown Lighting Assessment and the Wayfinding. But to date, we haven't had much traction on any of the others. There has been some progress, and I'm just looking to help the city in the best ways that I can, communicate feedback, and provide any kind of support. Well, in all fairness to the city, these strategies were not resourced. They didn't have a resource tied to them. So when you don't have resource funding tied to it, you have to create that. And so because we got money from the pandemic, we were able to use some of those funds to get it started, to get some of it started. And so now they are part of the $135 million unfunded CIPs. So I think that's one of the reasons why the city wants to do the tax measure. And I've been asked to support it, and I've also been asked to not support it. And where I stand on it is, if they told me they were going to allocate funding for economic development, you'd be seeing a sign on my head that says, vote for the sales tax. I understand that it goes into the general fund, so they can't necessarily specify. But for me, when you tell me to trust you, and you've broken trust before, then I'm looking at behaviors. And if I don't see behaviors that look like, you know what, you're actually tracking progress on our CIPs in a way that makes sense to me. You're tracking milestones, you're holding people accountable for results or missteps. And if I don't see that, it's hard for me to go, okay, this time will be different. Well, in all fairness, I've only been watching it for the last 4 years. So I can only tell you the last 4 years. I've heard a lot of the same stories. And so I'm going to only go from my personal experience. The council that was in 2020, they were very helpful. A lot of them were very proactive. And some of them weren't. But I always felt like we could at least exchange ideas, and they would listen. And I attribute a lot of that to Mary Campbell. I can't speak highly enough of her, sorry. But she was somebody that if you look at what an ideal council member should be, leadership quality is one of them. And leaders need to inspire and encourage people to participate and believe in them and communicate and actively listen to their constituents. And I'm finding a misstep from that. I'm seeing that our exchanges at the city level are being more contentious, more challenging. Is it fact-based? Is it rumor-based? And for the community members that have gone up there with actual data, facts, they're challenged. And now, unfortunately, I've seen now their characters are being questioned. And for me, who's somebody who speaks up quite regularly, I've been going to the city council meetings for the last 4 years. I've been going to planning. So I speak of what I know. These are people that genuinely care about our community. And if they are being challenged and they are being disparaged, why would anybody go up and speak? Because when I do talk to my fellow business owners, I get two responses. Please, because I'm trying to get people to communicate and give feedback to the city. I get two responses. One, I don't want to get on the city's radar. What does that mean? Laura, I'm just going to do my business. I don't want to get involved. And two, if I speak up, Laura, what difference will it make? And it breaks my heart because that's not who we are as Hermosa. That's not why I got involved. That's not why I volunteer. That's not why I do what I do. I do what I do because I believe in our leaders. I believe in what they're trying to do. But you cannot manage what you don't measure. These are good people who are on our city council and in our city leader. These are good, fine people. But I also understand that this may not be a skill set that's in their wheelhouse. And a lot of times I've heard, well, this is the way that tradition is. This is the way we've done it for years. Why would we change it now? And my answer to that question is you change it now because the people are saying it's not working for them. When's the last time we've done a resident survey? When is the last time we engaged and asked for satisfaction? Are we meeting the needs? I recently went to the AI conference in the South Bay, and we had a city manager from another city up there explaining how they're getting their city ready for the AI trends that are coming. And somebody asked him, I'm afraid of these jobs. AI is taking over these jobs. What are we doing? Shouldn't we be more, helping save jobs? And the city manager said, my job is to not save jobs. It's to provide the best quality service to our residents and our businesses. And I thought about that, and I said, we need to do more to reach out and have a back and forth. I've recommended town halls where residents could come in and ask questions in real time and get real answers. Because if we could do formats like that, people could get what their concerns addressed in a timely manner. Oh, I'm actually excited about the idea of investing in our community. Now, 180 or 120, all these numbers have been thrown around. There are no real numbers yet. I'm interested in learning more because when I saw the pictures about our current civic facilities, they need help. We need investment. But my question is, as a business owner, you try to go for the lowest hanging fruit. And the lowest hanging fruit are the property owners who want to invest in our city. We want to develop. We want to make our facades nicer. And people are going, well, why don't you? Why don't you just paint your building? I tried to do that. It took a long time to get a permit. So for me, it's like I've asked the city, I love the idea that you want to invest in our community. But you need to hold a forum with all of us so that it's not just one-offs, because that's what they tell me. They said, Laura, we've been talking to property owners. Yes, individually. But you need to get us all in a room where we can go, you know what, we're in this together. We want it. We love our town. We love our residents. Let's come up with some solutions. Because the thing for me that makes Hermosa Beach so special, it's not the buildings, it's the people. That's what makes Hermosa Beach so special. What do we need in a leader? Because one of the things that I saw recently at our council meeting is when people come up and they attack our council, I mean, that's just causing a fight. But if you can bring up thoughtful policy issues, it's fair game. And what I'm seeing now is that it's devolved to a point where now the reverse is happening. And so somebody on council has to step up and say, enough. We need to treat each other the way we would want to be treated. We need to model the behavior that we want to see. And it takes courage to do that. Because when you're up there, I can only imagine. We have meetings sometimes that go until midnight. I've been up till 1 a.m. People think I'm crazy. But since I've traveled down this rabbit hole with the city, I feel that I can either be a support to them, or I can either go to a place where I refuse to go. I want to help, I still want to help, I believe in what we're trying to do. I just think we have a different way to do it, and I think on council, we have the opportunity to elect two people who have substance, who have experience, and who have knowledge of what to do on day one. We can't wait another year. We need day one experience. So anybody who has good ideas, I'm willing to listen to them. One of the things that's the guiding principle is Plan Hermosa, because they talk about that a lot. And because I've been to a lot of the housing element, our housing element just got certified. And we're currently undergoing comprehensive zoning. And I don't know if residents realize how important that is. We haven't done a comprehensive zoning update in 43 plus years. So we have this amazing opportunity, residents and businesses, to change the very face or keep the very face of some of our land uses, some of our development standards, some of our citywide provisions that tell you where you can park your car and where you can't, where you can put your signs and where you can't. And I can't get enough people at these meetings. And I'm telling you that if the community doesn't come out and weigh in on what they know and what they want, after this book closes on the comprehensive zoning update, it is going to be hard to get any changes. You're going to have to fight. So the city right now is saying, we're holding meetings at the Planning Commission. They're Tuesdays. Yeah, Tuesdays. Come give us feedback. We want to hear from you. So please provide feedback. And I will educate you or give you up to dates. I've submitted 17 pages of feedback already. So they're tired of hearing from you, okay? Just saying. One more thing. It's very, very important. In Plan Hermosa, one of the things that we have is we have guiding principles. And one of them is to use a catalyst of innovation, meaning that we need to look at future trends and harness that. We have something called the decision-making tool. It's roughly on page 40, 42. These are questions that we're supposed to be asking, or that our leadership is supposed to be asking, to determine whether or not any initiative or policy is worth its salt. I haven't heard those questions asked since I can remember. Because one of the things about the decision-making tool is it requires you to measure progress. And if you don't measure progress, I don't know how we get to the plan, to the vision of Plan Hermosa.
We wanted to thank everybody who participated in our show. We hope that all of you learned a lot at home. We want to make sure that you get out and vote. And thank you for watching Eye on Hermosa.